What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Once again, we are live here on Tuesday night. We have another special treat for you all. Yes, it is week 4 action. The Miami Dolphins versus the Seattle Seahawks. Listen, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to TDPHINSTALK. Go over to my social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Sportscaster, DolphinsTalk.com. You can find my content on all of those sites, ladies and gentlemen. Also, thank you to all the Patreon members and those who donate to the channel on a consistent basis. I appreciate your love and support and helping us do what we do over here. Shout out to the Mod Squad. Thank you for rocking with me and helping manage the chat and so much more. I love y'all, man, and I'm appreciative of doing this every single chance that I get. But without further ado, we got to get into this matchup this week with the Miami Dolphins versus the Seattle Seahawks. This is our biggest test, ladies and gentlemen. The Seattle Seahawks by far will be our biggest test. Can we win? I'm not going to answer it for you. I'm going to just ask them. Shout out to Sam Dog, the infamous Seattle Seahawks YouTuber. What's up, homie? What's going on, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on TDPHINSTALK. This is Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you live from an hour south of Seattle in my hometown, Puyallup, Washington, in the 253. And I'm excited about this game. You know, we haven't played each other since 2016 in week 1. I remember I was at that game too, and that was a battle, man. You guys had us, and then we got that last-second Baldwin touchdown to win 12-10. That game was a hell of a battle too, man.
12-10. Wow, that was an. You know what? All we can do is hope it's a defensive battle that close, because any team has a shot at that point, man. Can you tell us a little bit about your team this year and how they're rocking and rolling?
I'm satisfied with the way we're rolling, but my question is the secondary and the defense, and of course our defensive coordinator, Ken Norton Jr., for giving up all those big yards in these past couple of weeks, back-to-back weeks with 400-plus passing yards. Granted, the Falcons one was in garbage time since we basically did work on them, but I'm so happy with the way that we are finally letting Russell cook, man, with the way that he's been 14 touchdown passes in the first 3 games, a new NFL record for first 3 games by a quarterback, breaking Patrick Mahomes' record, and I forgot the other guy's record he broke. But man, I'll tell you what, I've been satisfied, and it's pretty. I'm feeling pretty good right now, you know.
Man, that's a record that's tough, man. He's looking good. The team is looking good. And when you bring up the defense, you bring in Jamal Adams, and he's a beast in his own nature. But it's almost unreal how teams are putting up this type of offense against you all, because it continues to be a shootout. What do you think is going wrong in that secondary?
Well, it's just I just rather play more man coverage, play more tight coverage to where we can, just bat the balls down, just like in the old days of the Legion of Boom when we were playing more man coverage. I'm tired of playing guys just 5 yards off them, keep leaving people too wide open. It's like people got to just stay on their man and not get shook, man. And that's why I'm starting to question Ken Norton Jr. for the way our defense has been giving up all these yards and we've been in these close games, that's just my take on it.
I've been saying this for a while. It's not a Seattle issue. Miami does the same thing. Other teams do the same thing. It's too much cushion in this league, and it's allowing the offense to be too explosive now. So we'll see. It's like the best teams are figuring that out, and they're playing bump and run. So are you worried about our receiving core and us putting up some points for Ryan Fitzpatrick, being that your defense is struggling in the secondary?
Well, I'm concerned about just the coverage and the defense, but another concern is I think you guys are not going to be facing Jamal Adams this week since he's got a groin injury. So how confident I'm feeling, I think this would be a good week for us to rest Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then, of course, Chris Carson on our running game took a dirty hit, which I think that guy should be suspended and fined at the same time, whoever did that to Chris Carson. But, yeah, there are some concerns, but I'm feeling confident that the offense can still help out the defense. And then hopefully, with our pass rush and run stop, I'm confident that we could stop the run. The secondary has been my biggest question so far for me. That's just me, though.
Now you're confident you can stop the run. We got this little. I don't mean this in an insulting way, but this little pest by the name of Myles Gaskins, who's been, having a lot of success running the ball. What do you know about him?
Well, that's a picture of me and him at the Seattle Miss game. Of course, I had my Seahawks jersey on, and this is a few months after that. I was familiar with him when he was at Washington. He had a hell of a run in his last Apple Cup game in the snow in Pullman in 2018. I remember that long touchdown run. Myles Gaskins, pretty cool guy from Linwood, Washington. And I told him best of luck with the Dolphins and congratulations on getting drafted, because we always support our locals back here in Washington. That's one thing we always like to do. We always like to support our local players still playing and that get a chance to make it in the league, and that's pretty cool. And plus, speaking of that, our local guy Jermaine Kearse just retired today, the one that made some of the biggest catches in Seahawks history. So he's from the 2532, which is my area code. Lakewood, Tacoma, Puyallup. So it's pretty cool he ended his career, but definitely remembers big plays. But yeah, I think it starts with shutting down Myles Gaskins, and then obviously you got Jordan Howard there, which you usually use him as a bruiser in the red zone too. So stopping him, and then you got Devontae Parker, who I think is a pretty good receiver. And then I think you got one of the best tight ends in the league, very underrated tight end, and Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's a beast. I don't know. I don't care what anybody else says. Mike Gesicki's a beast.
Yes, he is, man. He definitely is underrated. He has to continue to play well to make a name for himself. And I'm interested because I want to ask you about this as well. The Miami Dolphins had a Thursday night game. So we basically have like a 9 to 10 day period of preparing for the Seattle Seahawks. But the Seahawks just played on Sunday in the middle of the day. Obviously, they had Monday off, I'm pretty confident. And they may have gotten back to work today. And that may stretch out to about Friday. They're going to have about 3 to 4 days to prepare. And they have to travel across the country in an early 1 o'clock game. Will that play any factor? And Miami has fans that will be allowed at the game.
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, I really wanted to go to that game in Miami because of the fact that they were allowing fans. But, can't take any chances with the whole COVID mess. I know the COVID mess was pretty bad in Florida, but we were pretty good we went undefeated in our 10 a.m. game slates last year on the 1 p.m. Eastern time game. So as long as if we can keep that going, I think, it's just, I really think that I'm feeling good with how we've been on the road. Last year was our best year, going 7-1 on the road. So I'm feeling pretty confident about going into Miami. And plus Russell Wilson, the only thing that gets me is that he's never won a game in the state of Florida. He's 0-3. Obviously lost to you guys. He lost to you guys his rookie year in 2012, which I remember that game. I think one part of the game, the sprinklers accidentally turned on. And there was an Earl Thomas interception, which they called a BS penalty on, which took away a red zone interception, which I think was one of the reasons why you guys won that game. But can't be bitter forever, though, and all that. But
I didn't know he was 0-3 in Florida. So two things there. I hope after this weekend he ends up 0-5. 0-4. 0-4. And I also hope that you all go 7-1 on the road again, and your one loss is this Sunday. So the main real question that I want to ask is, can the Dolphins find any way to beat the Seattle Seahawks?
Only if you're shutting down our receivers in our run game. That's for sure. You got to try to be shutting down guys like Metcalf, Lockett, Fast Freddie Swain, our rookie receiver we drafted out of Florida, David Moore. Our receivers, and Russell, he's just been eating, man. But you got to try and get pressure on Russell and try to shut down a passing attack if you want a chance. Or better yet, we also got Greg Olsen, the tight end, and Will Dissly and Jacob Hollister. So there could be a chance we use our tight ends. But I'll get more into that going into my preview with my buddy Brendan Nelson a little later on in the week. But there's a lot you're going to have to stop against us, and it all starts with the passing attack with Wilson's top targets in Lockett and Metcalf.
So how many points do the Seattle Seahawks secondary give up? Because I can tell you now, we're probably going to go into this game with the primary focus of shotgun, Fitzpatrick throwing the ball around the field with guys spread out. How many points do the Seattle Seahawks give up in the secondary this week?
Well, hopefully this time I think we give up maybe 20 and my Seahawks win this game by a score of maybe 30-31. I'm going to go with the Super Bowl final score from last year, 31-20 Seahawks, depending if our secondary gives up that much. But if we play better on Devontae Parker and your tight ends and get some – but if we force turnovers, which I'm always one to preach turnovers and cashing in on them. We cash in, we could probably raise the score up on you guys. Just saying, that's just the way I look at things with my team.
So let me ask you, do you all have any concern about two of the top paid corners in the league, and Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, who may actually play? We still don't know because he had a slight groin injury last week, a week before Jamal Adams did. And, he's working hard to get back for this game. And these guys are two really good corners. Do you all have no concern about those guys checking Lockett and Metcalf?
Well, there's always going to be the concern of who the top guy is, but I'm confident in Metcalf, especially with the way he shook Stephon Gilmore, the reigning defensive player of the year in week 2. But he should not have gotten too cocky when he, celebrated too early and let a fucking rookie, punch the ball out of his freaking hand in Trayvon Diggs. He should not have let that crap happen because that should have been a 6-touchdown pass day for Russell Wilson. But I remember when is it Byron Murphy you said? Who was the former Dallas Cowboy?
Jones.
Byron Jones. I remember when Byron Jones was a Dallas Cowboy too, but there might be a little concern to see how that matchup goes with some of those top paid corners. But if my guys can shake them, then it's going to be a long day.
Man, so really the pulse is Seattle's not worried about this game.
Well, but I'm not overlooking you guys because we feel like maybe possibly that this could possibly be a trap game depending on which version of Ryan Fitzpatrick we get. We either get Fitz Magic or we get Fitz Tragic.
Wow, it's sad that everybody knows that. That's the sad part. So the last question here. From the Seattle Seahawks, what do you think your biggest weakness is outside of the secondary right now?
Offensive line, just trying to, pass protect for Russell Wilson. Pass protection's always been a big issue. And then, we also want to be able to get good holes for the running backs to run through and run stopping. But I really think pass protection and the offensive line has really been our biggest weakness, because seeing guys get blown up, and we've had injuries on there. I don't know if our rookie Damian Lewis, hopefully the positive signs are he got a little dinged up last week against Dallas, but there's positive signs that it's not too serious, so he should be good to go. And there's that. And then obviously pass rush is another weakness too, like barely not being able to get pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. Granted, we got 2 sacks last week, so getting pressure on Fitzpatrick is definitely another thing. And we lost Bruce Irvin for the year with a torn ACL in the game against the Patriots. And then our rookie Alton Robinson, he really stepped up pretty good last week on our defense in run stop, and he had his first career sack on the last drive to make Dallas use their last time out before he threw the interception to Ryan Neal at the end. So, yeah, my concerns, obviously, other than secondary, has been pass rush and the offensive lines. I've always been having that for years.
So you're saying that to me, and I sit here and I think about it. You're actually making Dolphin fans right now feel more optimistic about this game, and let me tell you why. If your protection isn't doing so well, our protection is starting to get better and better. But then
another issue
go ahead.
But another issue is sometimes the other issue I have is Russell's biggest issue sometimes is some of the sacks he takes is when he holds on to the ball for too long.
And that's why I feel like that's a good thing for Miami, because if they have a shot, we've been bringing in more guys. Van Ginkel, Calvin Noy is actually the highest rated linebacker in the NFL right now. I don't even think a lot of Dolphin fans know that.
I was going to get into you. I was about to get into Kyle Van Noy because I remember how big of a beast he was when he was with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Yes. And then, of course, you got Brian Flores coming down to you guys after winning Super Bowl 53, who is a big defensive mind. And I know Brian Flores is going to bring it big time. You guys brought it big time last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Thursday Night Football. And then also another key thing for us is going to be shutting down Fitzpatrick when he tries to run the ball. And we know Fitzpatrick can run. I mean, for how old he is, he's still got a little bit left. But I have another question I want to ask you. When do you Dolphins fans expect to finally see Tua Tagovailoa finally take over the reins as the starting quarterback? And what are you hoping for Tua to be in the future for the Miami Dolphins?
I found myself sitting back thinking about this today around 2 p.m. and I was just laying back thinking about when is this kid going to start? And I might have come to the conclusion that it won't be until 2021, period. And the reason why is because if Fitz doesn't get hurt, Fitz is not going to have 3 bad games in a row. If Fitz can find a way to keep us in playoff contention, they will not bench Fitz because it's unfair to the rest of the team to put a rookie out there that could very well struggle. Not saying he would, but who knows? Could very well struggle, especially with our OC today coming out saying, there's still a lot for him to learn. And grass college is totally different than the NFL. So I'm going to say 2021 and just book it at this point, unless we have an injury by Ryan Fitzpatrick or he just comes out and ends the season with tragedy, just terrible play where they have to move on. But it's just not likely. It's not in his odds. The rookie isn't playing better than Fitz right now because I think if he was, he would be in. So that's where we are. And I expect this kid to be special in the future, but I try not to talk about what he's going to be in the future. I try to be optimistic, but you never know because this is the NFL. It's not college. Some of the greatest college players of all time were bust in the NFL.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, it's one of those things I try not to get too high, too low and try to guess how he's going to look in the NFL. I just, at a point, whenever it happens, and I'm hopeful that it's the best thing that decisions we've ever made. But I wanted to go back for a second on some of the things you were talking about. Like you make us feel good about the D-line putting pressure on Wilson since the O-line is somewhat not so much struggling, but not doing as good as you all would hope they would. But then also you talk about your pass rush not being that great, and our O-line has been the surprise of the season. Our O-line has played some of the best football that we've seen in over 20 years on the offensive line. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick is barely getting hit every week. Barely even getting hurried every week. And the sacks that are given up are totally his fault. And that makes me feel good going into this game because a clean pocket for Ryan Fitzpatrick continued. He doesn't have to run as often if he has time to sit back there and throw the ball and pick the secondary apart. So it's just going to be interesting. Like you really did give us some optimism about this game when you said, the pass rush hasn't been superior and the O-line, hasn't been the greatest. I think that could really even this game out because if we can get at Russell and contain him from running, and if both of our corners are playing, I think that this can be a very competitive day, and Russell Wilson might end up 0-4 in Florida. So,
well, hopefully it turns to 1-3. But if you guys give Russell any room to run, it's give him his opportunities. He's going to get big chunk yardage and first downs too. But like I also mentioned, and sometimes it's not really all the pass rush, which obviously they had kind of their worst day against Dallas with the sacks they gave up in that game. But a lot of times, there are times where the sacks are Wilson's fault because there are times where he just holds on to the ball for too long.
Got it, man. Whew. Well, hey, we're going to see, man. This was exciting. I want to thank you so much for coming on. Sam Dog, can you, do you have the chat comment section pulled up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right here. My buddy Mass Temple's actually in the chat.
Awesome, man. Can you just drop a quick hello in the chat section because we want to try to get some people to click on your avatar and go sub to your channel right now because I will be on your channel coming up.
Yeah, Sam Dog, the infamous 253. I'm trying to get down to the thing for it to let me comment. I don't think it's going to let me comment. I can only put it in the private chat. So, man, unless I can do it on my phone, though. I can get there on my phone.
If you can, that's all good. If you all want to hang out, please do TD a big favor, man. Once he drops this, I want y'all to go over to his channel, subscribe. Man, he's doing some great things over on his channel with YouTube and the Seattle Seahawks. Man, we listen, man. We've been picking up a whole lot of allies and people we could talk football with this year. And this is certainly a great YouTuber that you definitely want to follow. So show your love and support. Make sure that you come through. He just dropped it. Sam Dog, the infamous 253, just dropped it in the comment section. Click on it right now. Go over, subscribe. Sam, thank you so much for coming on TD FanStalk.
And dude, this is so big that I got one of the biggest Miami Dolphins content creator. I heard you're the biggest one out there for Miami Dolphins content. And this is it's a big honor for me, because, trying to get my channel up there and word out there. I just dropped my game picks video out there with my buddy Dallas, which we do every Tuesdays. And when the Seahawks don't play, we also do Red Zone reaction, where we watch Red Zone and react to all the plays, which it's really fun when your team's not playing. So that way you can basically watch the games, react to the plays, and talk to other people in the chat, get their thoughts on the games going on or what their teams are doing. It's just really, really awesome. I would highly recommend it, man.
Awesome, man. Well, a lot of people after this video, they're going to come check you out. I know you won't disappoint. Fins up. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. May the best team win. It's gonna
and
be
usually
us.
At the end of my videos, I always end by saying this. I say, if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous.
Ooh, I love it, man. We're going to go over to his channel now, guys. Y'all go subscribe to his channel right now. That video will be dropping soon. Go check it out. He has a lot of questions for me, and we're going to go from there. Thank you, Infamous. This is TD FanStalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We are out.
Well, Sam Dog. That's what I go by, Sam Dog. But
Sam Dog.
Sam Dog.
I got you.
All right. Later, guys. Catch you in a bit on my channel.